First contact with the Forsaken. Captain Maya Chen stared through the bridge viewport of the ESS Horizon as her ship approached the edge of mapped space. The distant stars looked different here, more clustered and vibrant, like scattered diamonds on black velvet. After 6 months of deep space exploration, they were about to venture into truly unknown territory. Captain, I'm detecting unusual energy signatures from Sector 7. Lieutenant Sarah Foster called out from her science station. They don't match any known patterns in our database. Maya straightened in her command chair. Show me. The main holographic display lit up with a cascade of data streams. The energy readings pulsed in an eerily regular pattern, almost like a heartbeat. But what caught Maya's attention was their source, a small planetary system orbiting a stable yellow star. Life signs, she asked, leaning forward. Sarah's fingers danced across her console. Yes, but strange ones. They're concentrated in what appears to be a massive underground complex spanning most of the planet's northern continent. The bioratings are unlike anything we've encountered. More interesting, interrupted Commander David Rodriguez, Maya's first officer, is what's in orbit around that planet. He manipulated the display, zooming in on dozens of artificial satellites. They're beacons, ancient ones, and they're broadcasting. The bridge fell silent as Communications Officer Raj Patel began translating the signals. His dark eyes widened. Captain, these messages, they're warnings, from at least 20 different species, some dating back centuries. They're all saying variations of the same thing. Do not waste resources here. These beings are unworthy of assistance. Maya felt her jaw tighten. In the decades since humanity had achieved faster-than-light travel, they'd encountered their share of advanced civilizations. Some had been helpful, others cautious, but none had ever simply abandoned an entire species. Take us in closer, she ordered, but maintain defensive screens. I want to know what could have prompted so many species to leave such warnings. As the horizon approached the planet, more details became clear. The underground complex was a marvel of engineering, with vast chambers and tunnels spreading like veins through the bedrock. But many sections showed signs of structural decay, and the power signatures were fluctuating dangerously. I'm getting clearer readings on the inhabitants, Sarah reported, her voice hushed with wonder. They appear to be humanoid, but their cellular structure, it's incredible. Their entire nervous system seems to be quantum entangled. Each individual is literally connected to every other member of their species at the subatomic level. A hive mind? Maya asked. No, more like a symphony, each one distinct but part of a greater whole. Their consciousness exists partially in quantum space itself. Before Maya could respond, Raj called out again. Captain, we're being hailed. It's coming from the underground complex. Maya took a deep breath. First contact scenarios were always delicate, but this one felt different. On screen, the holographic display shifted, revealing a being that made the entire bridge crew gasp. The alien was tall and impossibly slender, with translucent skin that seemed to ripple with patterns of light. Its large, compound eyes shimmered with intelligence, and when it moved, it did so with a fluid grace that seemed to defy physics. Greetings, unknown vessels. The being spoke, its words translated by the ship's eye. I am Curator Vexna of what remains of the Vayari. We are surprised to see new visitors. The warnings usually deter most species. Maya stood, squaring her shoulders. I am Captain Maya Chen of the Earth Ship Horizon. We're an exploratory vessel from humanity. May I ask why there are so many warnings about your people? The being's skin rippled with dark colors that the ship's AI translated as a mixture of sadness and resignation. Because we are deemed unworthy of aid. Our physical forms are fragile, our technology primitive by galactic standards. We cannot fight, cannot defend ourselves. Each species that has found us has judged us too weak to survive in the greater galaxy. But your quantum integration, Sarah interjected, unable to contain herself. The way you've engineered your entire civilization To exist partially in quantum space, that's incredible. Vexna's colors shifted to something lighter, though still tentative. You find this interesting. The others dismissed it as useless theoretical knowledge. They said a species that retreated into quantum space rather than developing weapons and shields was clearly unfit for survival. Maya felt something fierce and protective surge in her chest. She recognized this feeling. It was the same one that had driven humanity to unite and reach for the stars in the first place. Curator Vexna, would your people be willing to receive a diplomatic delegation? I believe there's much we could learn from each other. The alien's colors swirled with confusion. You wish to help us? Despite our weakness, where others see weakness, we see unique strength, Maya replied firmly. Humanity has learned that true power lies not in domination, but in diversity, in finding ways to complement each other's abilities. Vexna was silent for a long moment, its colors shifting through patterns the AI couldn't fully translate. When it spoke again, its voice carried a tremor of something that might have been hope. We would welcome your delegation, Captain Chen. But I must warn you, associating with us may harm your standing with other galactic species. Maya smiled. Then let them judge us as they judged you. Humanity has never been good at following others' rules about who is or isn't worthy. She turned to her crew. Prepare the diplomatic shuttle and get me a secure channel to Earth Command. They're going to want to hear about this. As the crew rushed to comply, Maya gazed at the ancient warning beacons orbiting the planet. Each one represented a civilization that had looked at these remarkable beings and seen only what they lacked, never what they could offer. Well, humanity would show them a different way. The Vayari's quantum integration might be the key to revolutionizing everything from communications to space travel, but that wasn't why Maya intended to help them. She would help because it was right, because every sentient species deserved the chance to reach their full potential. As she watched Vexna's image on the screen, still swirling with cautious colors of hope, Maya knew this moment would change both their species forever. Humanity had found its purpose among the stars, not to conquer or dominate, but to protect and nurture those that others had deemed unworthy. The journey ahead would be challenging, but Maya had never felt more certain of a decision in her life. The warnings that had deterred so many others would become a testament to humanity's greatest strength, the ability to see value where others saw only weakness. The price of compassion. The Grand Council chamber of the Galactic Concordat buzzed with angry murmurs. Representatives from 200 species filled the massive amphitheater, their varied forms creating a living tapestry of galactic diversity. At the center podium, Ambassador Elena Santos of Earth stood calm and unwavering, even as accusations flew from all directions. The humans overstepped their bounds, thundered Representative Karn of the militant Drachnid Empire, his scaled skin flashing warning colors. They are barely a spacefaring species, yet they dare to challenge the collective wisdom of the Concordat. Elena resisted the urge to smile at the irony. The Drachnids, like many others present, had left their own warning beacon around the Vayari homeworld. We are not challenging wisdom, she replied evenly. We are offering aid to a species in need. A species deemed unfit for elevation, hissed Ambassador Exer of the Mech Lords, their cybernetic eyes whirring as they focused on Elena. Their physical fragility makes them a liability. Their dependence on their quantum communion makes them unstable. They contribute nothing to galactic society. Nothing. Elena pulled up a holographic display. In the 3 months since first contact, collaborative research between human and Vayari scientists has yielded breakthroughs in quantum communications that your own experts declared impossible. She gestured to another display. Their understanding of quantum mechanics has already helped us improve our shield technology by 30%. Theoretical achievements, dismissed Representative Karn. They cannot defend themselves. They cannot fight. They hide underground like vermin. Elena's voice turned sharp. Not everyone needs to be a warrior to have worth. Representative. The Vayari's gifts lie in other areas. Their quantum integration could revolutionize everything from space travel to medicine. And that is precisely why this situation is dangerous. Came a new voice. Ambassador Lyre of the ancient Archean collective rose, her crystalline form catching the chamber's light. The humans are too young to understand. The Vayari's gifts, as you call them, make them too vulnerable to exploitation. Every aggressive species would seek to control them, to use their abilities for warfare. We sought to protect them through isolation, by abandoning them to die. Elena challenged, by leaving them alone with their failing infrastructure and dying power systems. That's not protection, Ambassador. That's genocide through neglect. The chamber erupted in outraged shouts, but Elena stood her ground. On her secure comlink, a message flashed from Captain Chen, now stationed permanently at the Vayari homeworld. Quantum shield integration successful. Test results exceed projections by 200%. Elena allowed herself a small smile. While the Concordat argued, humanity and the Vayari were already proving what they could achieve together. The new quantum shields were just the beginning. The humans have made their choice, Karn declared ominously. But choices have consequences. The Drachnid Empire withdraws all trade agreements with Earth, effective immediately. One by one, other representatives stood to announce similar sanctions. Elena had expected this, but the speed and scope of the retaliation was still breathtaking. By the time the last speaker finished, Earth had lost nearly 60% of its galactic trade agreements. Is this how the Concordat rewards compassion? Elena asked quietly. By punishing those who help the helpless. This is how we maintain order, Ambassador Lyre replied. The strong protect themselves. The weak perish. This is the way it has always been. Then perhaps it's time for change. Elena straightened, her voice carrying to every corner of the chamber. Humanity rejects this philosophy. We will not abandon the Vayari. If helping them costs us our trade agreements, so be it. If it means standing alone against the Concordat, we'll do that too. She gestured to the displays still showing the quantum shield data. But consider this. What other innovations, what other advancements have you all missed in your rush to judge species by their physical strength alone? How many potential allies have you abandoned because they didn't fit your narrow definition of worth? The chamber fell silent. Elena could see some representatives shifting uncomfortably, while others remained rigid in their opposition. She hadn't expected to change their minds in one session, but she planted the seeds of doubt. As she left the chamber, her comlink chimed again. This time, it was a message from the Vayari curator Vexna. The first quantum-integrated medical facilities are online. Human patients showing unprecedented recovery rates. When can you return to see? Elena smiled as she composed her reply. Let the Concordat make their threats. Every day, the partnership between humans and Vayari proved more valuable. The Concordat thought they were punishing Earth, but they were only proving humanity's point, that compassion and cooperation could achieve what force and intimidation never could. But as her shuttle prepared to leave the Concordat station, Elena's smile faded. She knew this was only the beginning. The Drachnids and their allies wouldn't be satisfied with mere trade sanctions. A storm was coming, and Earth would need every innovation, every advantage they and the Vayari could develop together to weather it. The question was, would they have enough time? Hidden strengths. Dr. James Harrison had never seen anything quite like the Vayari Quantum Laboratory. The vast underground chamber pulsed with soft bioluminescence, its crystalline walls somehow both solid and fluid at the same time. But what truly took his breath away was the sight of his research partner, Zaravai, literally walking through quantum space. Her translucent form rippled as she moved between dimensions, leaving traces of light in her wake. The quantum field is particularly strong today, she observed, her voice echoing slightly as it crossed dimensional boundaries. Perfect for testing the new integration protocols. In the 6 months since Earth had begun protecting the Vayari, their joint research facilities had become a fusion of human ingenuity and Vayari quantum mastery. What had started as a humanitarian mission had evolved into something revolutionary. "The neural interface is ready," James announced, checking the modified helmet on his workbench. "If this works, it should allow human consciousness to perceive quantum space the way your people naturally do." Zeravi's skin flickered with patterns that James had learned to recognize as excitement. "And with your people's unique capacity for individual thought and creativity, you may see things in the quantum realm that we never considered." That was what made their partnership so powerful. The Vayari's hive mind-like quantum connection gave them unprecedented understanding of quantum mechanics, but it also made their thinking somewhat uniform. Humans, with their chaotic individual perspectives, approached problems in ways the Vayari never imagined. James placed the helmet on his head and activated the interface. The world shifted. Colors he had no names for bloomed around him. He could see the quantum probability waves that Zeravi had described, could feel the strange interconnectedness of all things at the subatomic level. He struggled to find words. Amazing. How did other species not see the potential in this? "They saw only our physical weakness," Zeravi replied, her quantum form now crystal clear to James's enhanced perception. "They could not understand that our bodies evolved this way precisely because we learned to exist partially in quantum space. What they saw as fragility was actually adaptation." A loud alarm suddenly cut through their conversation. Red emergency lights began flashing throughout the facility. Multiple ships dropping out of hyperspace. The facility's AI announced. Drachnid signatures detected. James's heart raced. They'd known this might happen eventually. The Drachnids had been increasingly aggressive in their opposition to the human-Vayari alliance. But an outright attack? "How many?" he asked, already moving toward the command center. 27 warships, the AI replied. "They're deploying fighter squadrons." Through his still-active quantum interface, James felt a surge of fear ripple through the Vayari quantum network. But there was something else too. Determination. The Vayari were done being victims. In the command center, he found Captain Chen coordinating with both Earth Defense Fleet vessels and Vayari operators. The huge holographic display showed the Drachnid fleet arranging itself into attack formation. "They're jamming conventional communications," an officer reported. "Switch to quantum channels," Chen ordered. Thanks to the Vayari's help, Earth's ships now carried quantum communication arrays that no conventional jamming could block. But the real surprise came from Zeravi, who had followed James to the command center. "Captain," she said, her form still shifting between dimensions, "we have another option. With the neural interfaces, we can link your gunners directly to quantum space." "What would that do?" Chen asked, intrigued. "It would let them see where ships will be, not just where they are. In quantum space, probability patterns show future positions moments before they occur." James understood immediately. "We could fire where enemy ships are going to be, not where they are. Perfect predictive targeting." Chen's eyes widened at the implications. "How quickly can we deploy the interfaces?" "We've been manufacturing them for months," Zeravi replied. "Ever since we detected the first signs of Drachnid fleet movements. We have enough for every gunner in the fleet." As the crew rushed to distribute and activate the neural interfaces, James watched the quantum probability waves shifting around the approaching Drachnid fleet. They thought they were attacking a weak species and its foolish human defenders. They had no idea they were about to face an enemy that could literally see the future. "All ships reporting quantum targeting systems online," an officer announced. "The Drachnids are launching their first attack run," another reported. Captain Chen smiled grimly. "Let's show them what humanity and the Vayari can do together. All ships, engage at will." The battle that followed would change galactic warfare forever. Human ships, guided by Vayari quantum insights, seemed to anticipate every Drachnid move. Missiles struck empty space that enemy ships occupied seconds later. Defensive screens activated precisely where attacks would land. The Drachnids, expecting an easy victory, found themselves facing an opponent that seemed to possess impossible abilities. Their formations broke apart as ship after ship took precise, devastating hits. "They're retreating," Chen announced after less than an hour of combat. "All ships, hold position but maintain battle readiness." In the sudden quiet, James turned to Zorevi. "You know they'll be back, and they'll bring more ships next time." Her quantum form pulsed with what he now recognized as resolve. "Yes, but next time, we'll be even better prepared. The neural interfaces are just the beginning of what we can achieve together." She was right, James realized. The Vayari's quantum integration combined with human adaptability and determination was creating something entirely new, a partnership that was more than the sum of its parts. As he watched Earth ships and Vayari operators working seamlessly together, James couldn't help but smile. The galaxy had dismissed the Vayari as weak, but they had never imagined what that supposed weakness could become when paired with humanity's greatest strength: the ability to see potential where others saw only limitations. The real question was, what would they achieve next? The coming storm. The holographic display in Earth's Central Command showed a sight that would have been unthinkable a year ago. Nearly 1,000 alien warships gathering at the edge of Vayari space. The combined fleets of 6 major galactic powers, led by the Drachnids, had assembled for what they called a peacekeeping operation. Admiral Sarah Chen, promoted after her successful defense against the first Drachnid attack, stood before the United Earth Council, her expression grave. "They're demanding we withdraw all protection from the Vayari system immediately. They claim our interference is destabilizing the galactic order." By proving that their philosophy of strength was wrong all along, Council President Maria Rodriguez observed, "How many ships can we field?" 350. Thanks to the new quantum-enhanced shipyards the Vayari helped us build. But even with superior targeting systems, we're outnumbered almost 3-1. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity had known this confrontation was coming, but the scale of the opposition was staggering. "There's something else," a new voice announced. Ambassador Elena Santos entered the chamber, accompanied by a Vayari in environmental gear. "Curator Vexna." "Show them," Elena urged. Vexna stepped forward, their skin rippling with complex patterns. The holographic display shifted, showing what appeared to be a massive construction project in quantum space. "What are we looking at?" President Rodriguez asked. "The future," Vexna replied. "For centuries, my people explored quantum space while others dismissed us. We discovered things that the warrior races never imagined, including this: the ability to create stable quantum corridors." The display zoomed in, showing an intricate network of quantum tunnels connecting different points in space. "With your neural interfaces and our quantum engineering, we can move ships through these corridors. They're invisible to conventional sensors, and they bypass normal space entirely." Admiral Chen's eyes widened as she understood. "We could outflank their entire fleet, hit them from directions they don't even know exist. Better," Vexna continued, "we can evacuate our entire population if necessary. The quantum corridors can transport cities as easily as ships." President Rodriguez leaned forward. "You'd leave your homeworld." "Our true home is in quantum space," Vexna replied. "The planet is just where we chose to anchor ourselves. But we'd prefer not to run. Not again. Not with allies finally willing to stand with us." Before anyone could respond, alarms blared throughout the chamber. The enemy fleet had begun to move. Multiple ships dropping out of hyperspace, a tactical officer reported. "They're launching fighters. Time to contact with our outer defense line." 15 minutes. Admiral Chen turned to the council. "We need a decision. Do we stand and fight, knowing it might mean war with half the galaxy? Or do we withdraw and let the strong continue to bully the weak?" President Rodriguez stood, her voice firm. "Humanity didn't reach the stars by backing down from bullies. Admiral, you have authorization to engage." Protect the Vayari at all costs. Yes, Madam President. Chen turned to Vexna. Are your quantum corridors ready? The Vayari's skin pulsed with fierce determination. We've been ready for centuries. We just needed someone willing to help us use them. The next hours were a blur of activity. Earth's fleet moved into defensive positions around the Vayari system, while quantum engineers from both species finalized the corridor network. Through their neural interfaces, human crews could now see the quantum paths that had always been invisible to conventional sensors. The enemy fleet approached in a massive wall formation, clearly confident in their superior numbers. Their first communication was predictably arrogant. "This is High Commander Karn of the Combined Fleet," the Drachnid leader announced. "You are outnumbered and outgunned. Withdraw your forces and surrender the Vayari to proper containment or be destroyed." Admiral Chen's response was brief. "We decline." The attack began immediately. Enemy ships launched a devastating barrage of weapons fire, only to hit empty space as the Earth fleet seemed to vanish. "All ships, execute quantum jump," Chen ordered. Through the quantum corridors, Earth's vessels emerged behind, above, and below the enemy fleet. Their quantum-guided weapons struck with impossible precision, targeting critical systems that conventional sensors couldn't even detect. The enemy fleet, arranged for a frontal assault, found themselves caught in a three-dimensional trap. Ships exploded as quantum-enhanced torpedoes struck them seconds before they moved into position. Fighter squadrons were decimated by defense grids that activated before they even began their attack runs. "This is impossible," Karn's voice thundered over the command channel. "No species can move ships through quantum space. The energy requirements alone." "The Vayari have been doing it for centuries," Chen replied calmly. "You just never bothered to look past their physical appearance to see what they could really do." The battle raged for hours, but the outcome was never really in doubt. The combined fleet, for all its numbers, simply couldn't fight an enemy that seemed to ignore the normal rules of space warfare. One by one, enemy ships either retreated or surrendered. Finally, only Karn's flagship remained, surrounded by Earth vessels that seemed to flicker in and out of normal space. "This changes nothing," Karn snarled. "The galaxy will never accept them as equals." "The galaxy doesn't have a choice anymore," Chen replied. "The age of judging species by their physical strength alone is over. Now, High Commander, would you like to surrender, or should we show you what else the Vayari can do?" Karn's ship powered down its weapons. The great battle was over, but Chen knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy would have to adapt to a new reality, one where the dismissed and forgotten had become a force that could no longer be ignored. As she watched Vayari quantum ships emerge from their corridors to join the Earth fleet, Chen smiled. Sometimes the greatest strength wasn't in muscles or weapons, but in having the wisdom to see value where others saw only weakness. Standing together, 1 year after the Battle of Vayari space, the Grand Council chamber of the Galactic Concordat looked very different. The tiered seats, once arranged to separate species by their military strength, had been reorganized into a circular pattern where all representatives sat as equals. At the center of the chamber stood two figures, Ambassador Elena Santos of Earth and Curator Vexna of the Vayari. "The galaxy stands at a crossroads," Elena addressed the assembly. "The old order, built on physical might and military power, has been proven obsolete. The combined fleets of 6 major powers couldn't defeat an alliance between a young species and one they deemed worthless." Vexna's skin rippled with colors of conviction as they continued. "But we are not here to gloat. We are here to offer a new way forward." The holographic displays activated, showing the network of quantum corridors that now connected dozens of worlds. What had begun as a defensive measure had evolved into something far more significant. The foundations of a new galactic civilization. "Quantum integration has revolutionized everything," Elena explained. "Medical technology that can heal injuries by manipulating probability fields. Communication systems that can't be blocked or intercepted. transportation networks that make traditional hyperspace look primitive. And this is only the beginning, Vexna added. Every species has unique gifts, unique perspectives. When we work together, we achieve things none of us could manage alone. Former High Commander Karn, now serving as the Drachnid representative, shifted uncomfortably. And what guarantees do we have that this technology won't be used against us? That the weak won't seek revenge for centuries of oversight? The same guarantee you have from any civilized species, Alina replied. Our word. The Vayari harbored no thoughts of revenge during their centuries of isolation. They don't seek to dominate, only to contribute. Humanity stands as witness to their character. Ambassador Lyre of the Archean Collective rose, her crystalline form catching the light. We were wrong, she announced, surprising many. We saw their physical fragility and assumed it meant weakness. We never imagined their adaptation to quantum space was not a retreat from reality, but an evolution beyond our understanding. The chamber erupted in discussion. Some species still clung to the old ways, but many were eager to embrace the new possibilities. The Vayari's quantum technology, combined with human innovation and other species' unique capabilities, promised a golden age of advancement. In the research facilities beneath the Vayari surface, Dr. James Harrison watched the proceedings with Zoravai. Through their neural interfaces, they could feel the quantum probability waves shifting as the galaxy's future realigned. Did you ever imagine this? James asked. When you were alone in the dark, abandoned by everyone, did you think you'd end up changing the entire galaxy? Zoravai's quantum form shimmered. We hoped someone would see beyond our physical form. But humans did more than that. You didn't just accept us. You showed us how to turn our perceived weakness into a strength that could benefit everyone. On the quantum displays around them, they could see the changes already spreading across the galaxy. Quantum medical facilities were eliminating diseases that had plagued species for millennia. Transportation networks were uniting formerly isolated worlds. Research teams combining different species' perspectives were making breakthroughs daily. Back in the council chamber, Elena and Vexna concluded their presentation. The choice before us is simple, Elena declared. We can cling to old prejudices about what makes a species worthy, or we can embrace a future where every civilization's unique gifts are valued and combined for the benefit of all. Vexna's colors shifted to patterns of hope and determination. We stand ready to share our knowledge with any who wish to learn, not as superior beings, not as conquered subjects, but as equals in the great journey of discovery. One by one, representatives stood to pledge their support for the new order. Even the most militant species could not deny the benefits of quantum integration technology. The age of judging worth by physical strength was ending. Admiral Chen, watching from her quantum-enhanced flagship in orbit, smiled as she received the news. The Vayari had evolved beyond physical limitations by embracing quantum space. Humanity had evolved beyond prejudice by seeing worth where others saw weakness. Now the galaxy itself was evolving, becoming something greater than the sum of its parts. In the end, that was humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy, not their protection of the Vayari, but their ability to see potential in the overlooked and forgotten. They had proven that true strength lay not in domination, but in the wisdom to recognize that every species, no matter how different, had something valuable to contribute. As the quantum corridors pulsed with traffic between newly united worlds, as research teams of multiple species made breakthrough after breakthrough, as ancient enemies became partners in exploration and discovery, one truth became clear. The future belonged not to the physically strong, but to those wise enough to look past surface differences and see the strength in unity. The galaxy would never be the same. And that was exactly what both humanity and the Vayari had hoped for all along.